Beryl told me today this is the last evening. So what do we say on the last evening? I don't know. You tell me. What do we say?
I would like to know, to have a precision on Advaita.
What?
Advaita, is it the true word you use?
Yes.
And Smaranayakta, is it?
Yes.
So?
Smarana. Who put her onto Smarana? Was it you? Anything else?
You mentioned a few days ago surrender. What does that mean?
Anything else, friends?
There was just one thing that I thought was rather strange, and I found it difficult to understand. I read that self manifests in the yogi and also in fools, but the yogi knew, but the fool doesn't.
What have you been reading, Pearlie?
I don't know where I got it from, but
No,
I just thought
it is typical,
it was a
Pearlie.
bit strange that it could have been Hatha Pradipika possibly. But I mean, it needs to say that there might be a lot of fools around the yogis, and we don't know. I mean, we look for an enlightened being as being somebody sort of a little bit special, and
You find he's right to it.
but I mean, somebody who was a bit of an idiot, and he's enlightened. But the thing was that he doesn't know. The yogi knows that he is, but he doesn't know. The fool doesn't know that he's
What book is this
enlightened.
in?
So it seems awfully complicated to me to know.
Yes,
Sort of
very
who
complicated,
is,
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, yes. I mean, you might.
Didn't we
have-
talk about this in the past?
I know you've talked about the jester, court jesters, having wisdom.
Mm.
But then I would assume that they are not fools and they're just entertaining in a certain way and giving out wisdom. But one wouldn't have thought of them as being fools.
Anything else?
Just one thing. Saw a video about a famous guru. Now, the mechanics of it are basically that thousands of people become devoted to this man. My question is, if enough people believe that an ordinary man is extraordinary, does he become extraordinary through the projection of that energy? Is that the way it works?
I can't answer that.
I mean, thousands of people.
It's outside of my experience. Completely.
You could perhaps make an informed.
No, I've never met one of these super guru figures. I just don't know. Put the other way round, I've probably been at great pains to avoid any such encounter. So what have we got? We've got Advaita, we've got the fool, the yogi, the guru, surrender. Anything else? Did anyone say anything else? That's enough, mate. More than enough.
Govinda, the name of Shiva.
Krishna?
Govinda.
The Good Shepherd.
Yeah. In relation to Christ.
Well, first of all, friends, perhaps this word surrender, it's only partially in the British vocabulary, of course, because the British never surrender. It's only foreigners who are called upon to do that, and we were brought up in that sort of ethos, weren't we? The point I'm making is, in this context, the word surrender does not mean surrender in the connotation, the military meanings that we're accustomed to employing. Doesn't mean that at all. It means, in fact, in its sense, I don't know what the etymology of it is, it means to sacrifice. And sacrifice means to make sacred. To make sacred by relinquishing, to yielding up, to ceasing to possess, no longer consolidating, letting go, allowing, as it were, to dissolve, to float away, to allow to happen. Surrender in the sense of an offering, a sacrifice, a yielding up, is indispensable from discipleship. Surrender to what? Surrender to what? There are no doubt many ways of rationalizing that question and its answer, or many answers, according to an endless variety of theologies. Let's home in on one hopefully relevant thought. Surrender to the Logos. Surrender to the eternal word of truth. Surrender to the manifesting light that comes as the guiding word, that comes as the beckoning signal, or which comes as the shattering trauma, whose object is to break the shell that encloses our understanding. The Logos was expressed by the ancient mystics of India and elsewhere in the world as the Aum. The Ah is Vishnu. Ah, the first phase of the manifestation. Vishnu is that which becomes Avatar. Avatar means the descent, amongst other things. It's also one of the words for earth. It implies the sacrifice of spirit into substance. If you wish, the crucifixion of spirit into matter, that new life shall happen. New birth, new dawn, resurrection, enlightenment, the total fulfillment. Ah is Vishnu, the Avatar. U is Shiva. Shiva is the great enigma. Shiva is inadequately expressed as destroyer. Destroy, in our limited usage, is a pejorative term. Not in this context. The destruction of that which needs to pass away, for light to be born, for the Holy Grail to become the inner being of humanity, for humanity itself to be the temple of the living spirit. The Hum, the represents Brahma, the sound whose vibration is eternal, omnipresent, omniscient, without limit, sustaining every atom of existence, and that which is beyond manifest existence. So Brahma is the eternally generating vibration of creation and recreation. Shiva, the destroyer, is Lord of the yogis. He carries the trident, the symbol of balance, the symbol of avyakta, the symbol of equilibrium, expressing the potential of all humankind to become the vessel, the vehicle for incarnation of spirit and for the stimulus, the acceleration, the resurrection of material organic life into heavenly fruition. So that to which sacrifice is made is the great cycle of life, which is all creation, all power, all truth, all wisdom, all beauty. It is the all. Indeed, Om literally means all. The sacrifice is the irrelevant fragment. that has outgrown its evolutionary function, the toxic dross within all humankind, that now has no further relevance and must die. This word nirvana is most interesting. I suspect, I haven't checked it with Sri Parekh, I suspect it could be given one shade of meaning. Ana is breath, va is the verb to blow, nir is the negative. Nirvana could perhaps literally be no blowing, no inflation, no expanding of the trivial fool, but a letting go, a ceasing to be, a dying on the altar that is at the heart of our being, at the heart of our nature, on which burns the eternal flame, the Amritagni, the elixir of the eternal fire. And the human entity which surrenders, which approaches that altar, which mounts towards the high point, which is prepared to undergo the sacrifice, that will become the resurrecting phoenix, the great firebird, the companion of the Lord, the companion of Vishnu, the avatar, who brings the soma, the elixir, to earth. Within our earthly existence there is much inevitability, all of it necessitating a complex process and pattern of relationships that result from challenge and response. Survival is a necessity if life is to advance. The pilgrim, the disciple, the sadhak, the one who may have a glow of rich understanding, can either be a hermit who withdraws or a functionary. And when the yogi is not on the mountaintop, when the yogi is an active being within a mad world, he must become either a warrior or a fool. The Sufis enjoyed being fools. The theologians of conventional religion liked to regard themselves as the wise. They called themselves the wise, in contradistinction to which Sufi teaching labelled themselves the fools. Hardly a piece of presumption that they can be reproved for. What is a fool? Much folly has been instructive. Much folly, much jesting has been an art form. This art form has existed since earliest times. In modern usage, there is much evidence that the Zen tradition makes great use of unconventional behaviour, exceedingly foolish behaviour patterns, according to conventional wisdom, as a teaching vehicle, but also, certainly in Europe, as a means of surviving. Because a fool can be labelled such, dismissed as such, and not perceived as a threat, because he holds wisdom. Wisdom is always a threat. The Buddhic level is ever a challenge to our lesser nature, within ourselves perpetually. And in the course of human interaction, history amply demonstrates that the average of society are disposed of. Those who cannot meet, do not meet its moral, ethical norms, are disposed of. And those who greatly exceed the average of society are similarly disposed of. The fool has a better chance of surviving, and in a different way of generating wisdom. To his companion, his brother, the prophet, we come back to sacrifice. The human entity is the sacrifice. The human entity is the sacrificer, the priest being. The human entity is the benediction that manifests when the sacrifice has been consumed. The human entity itself is the altar, is the sacrifice, is the resurrection, and the life everlasting. All this is one, and essentially that is the meaning of Advaita, which merely means not two, not twain, integrated, all is one. And smarana, in the sense that we have employed the term, means equilibrium, finding the balance, the wholeness, the true relationship of the essential factors of a human being, in harmony, in balanced growth. Life itself is the teacher. Life itself contains the one light, and the vessel within which the light must manifest. Life itself is the darkness into which the light shall be born. Life itself is the altar which holds all the potential of the imminent coming of the dawn. Life itself is the guide, the eternal word that manifests all things, that knows all things, that cherishes all things, that is the good shepherd, the Govinda. Jesus did not invent that term. The great kings of the very ancient world, who were true to their Dharma, were known as shepherds of the people. Krishna was such. Krishna was Govinda. The shepherd has a most expressive function. This seems to have been partly forgotten in the first century of our era, because to be a shepherd was to be one of a despised, outcast minority, whose function meant they could not attend the full range of religious observances, and tended to be poor people, unable to fulfill the prescribed duties. But of course, there were echoes of a much older and nobler meaning. And the shepherd is one who wandered the hills, who guarded other creatures, who was the benign parent, who watched the rising of the sun, who slept and was nurtured by the night, who perceived the meaning of twilight, the descent of the sun into the earth, the coming again of the great light, and the unity, the cosmos, the harmony of all things. It may be that in our time the yogi is not the yogi. The yogi is not the man of the mountain. He may be the jester, or she may be the jester, and the sacrifice, and the teacher, and the germ of new life in many ways. By contrivance, the energy of human attention can with tremendous force be projected upon a given individual. Does the ascription of supernormal faculties to an ordinary human being make them extraordinary? That can't happen, surely. If there is greatness, it must be intrinsic and cannot flower as the result of any conditioning process. Whatever happens as the result of these extraordinary phenomena, the phenomena of leadership, political, religious, or what have you, it can be called great only if there is present the characteristic of a spontaneous inner flowering that occurs independent of, irrespective of, external demand, and may well, probably will, always exceed in its own demands, the expectation, the preference of those who make the mass invocation. The true being, the true prophet, the true leader, if such has appeared in history at any time, always confronts humanity with much more than humanity is prepared to yield up. Always confronts humanity with the realization of its deeper potential, and is never a mere manipulator, an entertainer, a supplier of what our lower nature thinks it wants. So yoga is surrender, which is sacrifice, is the meeting of challenge, which necessitates the realization of laughter and of being a fool. The essential question is also the essential meaning. Who is the guide? Who is the sacrifice? What is the resurrection? What is the avatar? The Logos itself is the eternal guide. If we surrender, there can be no return, no going back. The guide within will become a hunter. However wayward or retrogressive, despairing or disillusioned we may become, that hunter will seek us out, will beckon for our return, will compel our restitution. And if we surrender to it, the higher life, the higher nature, the universe itself will become our servant. Such is the paradox. The greatest among you shall become the servant of all. All is Om. Om is the Logos. If we surrender to the Logos, if we open our being to that restitution and healing, resurrection and ascension, that is our true destiny, then potentially we shall become the light, the life, the truth, and the way. All is one, Advaita, all healing, all beauty, all wisdom is accessible to the one who knows nothing, the one who becomes nothing, the one who is the servant of all.